Good evening, and welcome to Great Adventures, hosted by the Lethbridge Community Band Society, with guests the Coaldale Prairie Winds Grade 8-9 Band. Before we begin, we would like to acknowledge the traditional territories and oral practices of the Blackfoot Nations, which includes the Siksika, the Piikani, and the Kainai. We also acknowledge the Tsuut'ina and Stoney Nakoda First Nations, the Métis Nation of Region 3, and all people who make their homes in the Treaty 7 region of southern Alberta. Please join me in welcoming Silver Band conductor Ryan Heseltine to the stage.
Please rise and join us in the singing of our national anthem. Well, thank you. Good evening. Welcome to our 2026 March concert entitled, what's it called? Great Adventures. I was just going to say Adventure Time. That's a different show. Anyways, welcome. That piece was entitled Tales of Old and New, written by Jorge Machain. It's a wonderful fanfare and a great way to start our concert. We love our stories. As human beings, we've been telling stories probably as long as we've been around. One in particular, the hero's journey. Anybody that's ever read about the hero's journey knows that it's pretty much every movie you've ever watched. You've got somebody from some isolated little town somewhere that gets called away to adventure. Some very, very important quest is needed, and then they go off and have all of their adventures and resolve the situation, and everybody gets happy. So that song that we just played, to me, felt like the opening credits to a movie. And now we're going to join our character sitting in their farm somewhere in the middle of a prairie. This next piece is called Prairie Hymn. It's a beautiful piece of music written to give the sense of life on the prairies. This felt to me like a great way to kind of introduce and with talking of adventure, the calm before the storm. So we hope you enjoy this piece. It's going to feature the solo. Gemma Todischuk is going to be playing a solo in this, so listen for that. This is Prairie Hymn by Joseph Curial. Please enjoy. And then our adventure begins. This next piece, entitled For the Realm, composed by Christina Huss. This piece begins with a triumphant theme stated by the brass before a series of solos and soli. Okay, if you don't know the difference, solo is when there's one person playing. Soli is when it's a section. So solos and soli, each one of them is introducing a different knight of the realm. These knights are introduced one at a time, and they come together because there is a threat to the kingdom. There's an invading army, and so these knights gather the realm together, and you'll hear the band build and grow for the first little bit. And that's the whole of the realm coming together to protect. And then the battle begins, and of course, the triumphant end. Please enjoy For the Realm. That's super fun. Our last song before we concede the stage to Travis and the his wonderful program from Coaldale, we're going to play a piece for you called Sogno di Volare. This is an incredible piece of music, And I talk about it all the time to all my friends. I'm like, you gotta listen to this. Christopher Tin is a composer that's made his name in video game music. And it's so frustrating to me how so many in the music world thumb their noses at popular music, what's quotations popular music. Even though right now this is some of the most relevant music that particularly our youth are listening to. And you've got some of the best composers in the world starting to work and write for this. So this piece of music was written for a video game called Civilization 6. Anyone play it? No? Nobody? Yeah? Oh, awesome. Yeah, it's super fun. One of my favorites. One of those games you can lose hours to. Anyways, this piece is called Sogno di Volare, and if you know, it translates to Song of Flight. Christopher Tin wrote this piece. In the video game, you start off as the cave people and you work your way up to modern times and into the future, etc., etc. It's in doing so, what he did for this is he took this piece of music. It's written, it sounds very choral-like, but the text that's set to it is Leonardo da Vinci's writings on flight. So it's kind of like a science hymn. So I was like, ooh, I like that. You won't hear the words, you'll have to imagine them, but it's a really, really wonderful piece of music, and it's all about how when humanity is given the opportunity to put its minds to things, the things that we can achieve are pretty incredible. So please enjoy Sogno di Volare. Thank you very much. We're going to take a quick second here and shift bands. Okay, silver band this way. Let's take our seats over there.
Welcome back, everyone. The Lethbridge Community Silver Band is very excited to share their concert with the Coaldale Prairie Winds Grade 8-9 Band, conducted by Travis Conrad. Please join me in welcoming them.
Thank you so much. We're very excited to be here. This is actually the second time I've got to conduct in this building. I played here lots of times. My entrance last time was much cooler than this time. I guest conducted the Gold Band and got to pick my piece. I picked Back to the Future. So I actually rode down the aisle on my skateboard and jumped up on the stage and conducted. So that's, one of my favorite memories of conducting bands. So happy to be back. Thank you, Ryan, for the invitation. We're super pumped to be here. We have 4 pieces prepared. We're preparing for a festival in Edmonton coming up. Our first tune is called Sketches of Canada. The piece is a suite built around 3 traditional Canadian folk songs, The False Young Man, The Maid on the Shore, and Bold Wolf. Each movement has its own style, tempo, and character. The first is light and playful. The second is a more lyrical and sea-like melody. And the final movement brings the suite to an energetic close. We hope you enjoy Sketches of Canada. All right, thank you so much. Our second selection for you tonight is called The Rowan Tree by Randall Standridge. This piece is based on a traditional Scottish folk melody that Standridge first encountered the tune in the trio section of a concert march and was struck by its beauty. He later created this lyrical band setting to highlight the melody's expressive character. The music features warm, rich colors in the lower voices of the band, especially clarinets and French horn, creating a reflective and slightly melancholy atmosphere. It serves as a beautiful contrast to the more energetic music on the program we have up next. We hope you enjoy The Rowan Tree. All right. We're going to bump things up a notch here. Our next tune is called The Tides of Fate by Canadian composer Ryan Heseltine. This exciting piece continues a series of pirate-inspired compositions by Mr. Heseltine. The music captures the drama and adventure associated with life on the open seas, using energetic rhythms and bold melodies to bring the story to life. Throughout the piece, you'll hear the musical tension and the excitement that might accompany a pirate voyage, storms, battles, and the unpredictable twists of fate that sailors might encounter. We hope you enjoy The Tides of Fate. All right. We have one final tune for you tonight. It's called Sun Cycles by Brian Balmages. It's one of my favorite composers and one of my favorite pieces written for bands at this level. This composition is inspired by the Egyptian sun god Ra. In ancient mythology, Ra traveled across the sky each day carrying the sun before descending into the underworld at night and rising again the next morning. The music follows this journey. It begins mysteriously as the sun rises, then moves into a brighter section representing the sun's path across the sky. A darker section reflects the descent into the underworld before the main theme returns, symbolizing renewal and the beginning of a new day. Thank you one more time for having the Coaldale Prairie Winds Grade 8-9 Band here to share this concert with you, Silver Band. We're happy to be here, and we hope you enjoy our last selection, Sun Cycles.
Alrighty, thank you, Prairie Winds. Let's give it up for them one more time. We are just going to have a quick couple minutes to reset the stage.
Well, we finished setting up here. I will introduce the next piece. Before I get into all that, though, let's give another big round of applause to this band. You guys, phenomenal playing. Thank you. I know Travis shares my sentiment that we're getting, as a band teacher, we get to work with kids and sharing in music, and it is magical, and it's so good to see performance at such a high level. It's one of those things where I hear a lot of people complaining about kids, and I get a different angle on that because we get to work with the musical ones, and I'm like, I actually think we're in pretty good shape in our world. So on that note, if you yourself were once a musician in high school, middle school, whatever, and that old trumpet, clarinet, saxophone, whatever is just sitting in your basement, the Lethbridge Community Band Society might be a wonderful thing for you to take part in. If you have any questions after the show, feel free to come up to me. I'd love to talk to you about it. But our mission here with the Silver Band is to share, just basically to share in a love of music, to have a place where we can come together and put music together and play it for our communities and just share in this love that we all have for this weird magical thing we call music. So if you are somebody that would like to dust off that old instrument, come and talk to me, because we happen to think it's a pretty fun time. We have a lot of fun in our rehearsals. So anyways, our next piece of music we're going to play for you, it's a doozy. It's a big one. There's a lot of pages in this score. When I say Lord of the Rings now, people go, oh, the movies. But when I was about, I must have been 11, when a friend of mine came to me and gave me this book. He's like, you got to read this. It's really good. And I started reading it, and I was captivated with it. I read all 3 books. They're way above my level. I had to ask him, Dad, what does this mean? And a lot. And those aren't easy books either. I mean, Tolkien loved to spend like 3 or 4 pages describing the bark of a tree. But I managed to get through them, and they became a big part of me. And then I got into university, and we performed this piece of music, the expanded version. There's one that's a very challenging piece of music. It's 6 movements, and all based on these books, The Lord of the Rings, written by a composer named Johann de Meij. They are some of the coolest music ever written for wind orchestra. And then the movies came out, and Howard Shore did a wonderful job, but to me, this music represents The Lord of the Rings. So if you've never read The Lord of the Rings, you should. But in this music, some of the big characters and themes are given the musical treatment. It begins with Gandalf. You'll hear the main theme, and it represents Gandalf the wizard. And Gandalf's trusty companion, Shadowfax, his horse. You'll hear it go into this big gallop. The two combined, their musical themes interweave. It's really, really cool. From Gandalf, we go into the elves of Mirkwood Forest. And so you'll hear this timeless thing, and Bonnie's going to play this really wicked clarinet solo in there. And then we go into the Mines of Moria, and you'll hear this really dangerous boom, 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 as we walk for days, through Khazad-dûm. And just, okay, the nerd in me has to, I have to. The movies make it seem like they're in there for like a couple of days, but it's like weeks, I think even months they're in those mines. So anyways, all that aside. Then from there we go and we meet the hobbits, and we get this wonderful little country tune that dances around, and it's hard not to tap your feet, and then it all comes together in the end. So we hope you enjoy this magnum opus, this wonderful piece of music, Johann de Meij's Symphony No. 1 on The Lord of the Rings. Thank you very much. From there, we go to a song about chickens trying to escape the chicken pen. And yeah, if anybody here has seen Wallace and Gromit, the creators of Wallace and Gromit, many, many years ago got together to make this movie called Chicken Run, which is a really fantastically funny and wonderful little movie to watch. But the musical score is also great. Well, the movie story itself is kind of taken after The Great Escape and a lot of those movies from the 50s and 60s. The music does as well, but just with a little tongue-in-cheek. So as I was planning this programming, this concert, I thought, I think this would be a great one for it. It's adventure, but on a little bit silly side. So please enjoy Chicken Run. Well, thank you all so much for joining us tonight in this music. We have one more piece for you before we go. It's a tune called Fantasy Adventure at the Movies. It's I don't know, it's a pretty throwaway title. You're going to recognize some of the themes in here, maybe. If you've been around for a bit, watched a few movies, you should recognize at least some of these. One of them, Travis will probably really appreciate this one. You're going to hear a little bit of Back to the Future. You're going to hear a little bit of Star Trek, which no concert is complete without a little Star Trek. Then Once Upon a Time, Storybook Love from, someone's going to know it. Princess Bride. Yes, you'll hear a little of that. Then a totally underrated movie called The Rocketeer, and the music is so good in that movie. So a little bit of that in here. And then finally at the end, the movie from E.T. the Extraterrestrial. Thank you very much for joining us tonight in this evening of adventure music. Drive safe. Hopefully the snow has tapered off. And enjoy Fantasy Adventure at the Movies.